The Aggies, the Jazz, the high schools. If it's the sport you care about, we're talking about it. The Full Court Press on Sports Talk Radio, 106.9 FM, 1390 AM. The Fan.
Hello, everybody. Monday afternoon. It's hour number 2.
You know, at this point, I'm usually going home and getting me. Oh, guess what I did this past weekend? It was actually, it was a good weekend because I may have lost pick 6 in thrashing fashion, but I got me Madden 20. I've been feeling better since.
Yeah, does that help ease the pain?
It does, because then I put you as like 3'0" and me as 6'9", and then I just crush you. I just absolutely. I murder you. In fact, I actually kind of create you in the form of that. You ever seen the Little Giants? That little kid who's like wrapped up in bubble wrap or whatever it is when he goes out to the field. The little nerd.
What?
I put
Little
you.
Giants?
Yeah, you ever seen the Little Giants?
No.
Yes, you have.
Is this a movie?
Yes. Oh, movie quiz is going to be fun.
I've not seen this movie.
Well, shame on you. We should have a movie night.
So, anyway, this gets kind of awkward when you invite me over.
Why? Why do you have to be like that?
Hey,
Oh,
some of the things that did happen over the weekend.
fetch.
We were talking a lot about the Aggies. They had their practices that are underway. Practices going for another 10 minutes or so up at USU. And there was some NFL news today. A couple things. Tom Brady getting a contract extension.
Tom Brady having a birthday?
Yeah, big breaking news. Tom Brady had a birthday.
Yes. Well, no, because it is big news, Eric. Because he is now 42, which means if he completes all 16 games this year, and he'll become the oldest player in NFL history to do so. So it is a big deal. And I am thrilled for Tom.
Do you really think he's going to complete all games this year?
Why wouldn't he?
Because he's getting old.
Okay.
Anybody breathes on him wrong, and he's going to need to take time off.
Really? So you mean the Super Bowl last year and the one before that and the one before that where he played every single game? And yeah, you're right. You're right. I don't know either. Man, I'm terrified.
Well, so he signs his contract extension.
Yep. Yummy.
He could have earned or gotten a lot more money than he did.
Mm-hmm.
But everybody's making this big deal about how gracious he is to the rest of the team.
Yeah.
Then why does he still get what he's getting?
What are you talking about?
He's still one of the highest paid quarterbacks in the league.
He's the 6th highest. Oh, my hell. Okay, fine. You want to do this? Fine. Well, it stands. Okay, Tom Brady's won 6 Super Bowls, right? He's 6-3. That makes him... No, hey, don't talk. He's the winningest quarterback in NFL history when in regards to Super Bowls. But yet he's the 6th highest paid quarterback. Not 1, 6. Not even 2, not 3. Not even top 3, Eric. He's 6th. And he's yet the greatest quarterback in NFL history, playing for one of the greatest organizations in NFL history, underneath the greatest coach in NFL history. He's the 6th highest paid quarterback in yeah. It's stunning because you know what? LeBron James is considered one of the best in the league still, and he's like 37 years old. But yet he wants $37.5 million for missing 26 games. So he can go Instagram himself of a video of himself rapping to his kids. Or taking or going down
the layup line.
Yeah, getting in the layup line. He needs to miss 26 games for that. So, yeah, great players usually aren't unselfish. Carmelo wasn't unselfish. Jordan wasn't unselfish. Kobe Bryant, LeBron James. I'll put Draymond Green in there. Great players are not unselfish. Brady is unselfish. That's what differentiates Brady from everybody else. He doesn't need the money. He wants to win. He wants the rings.
He still got an $8 million raise. But the extension, is a little deceiving because he.
Oh my gosh!
I'm just explaining what happened today. I mean,
please,
the extension through 2021, the last 2 years, really, there's not much there, and so if he's going to still be around, he'd kind of need to renegotiate something at the end of this upcoming season. So it's just a little bit of a different contract, even though it sounds like this big multi-year contract extension. Really, it's to pay him for this year, and then there's really not much there for years 2020 and 2021.
Yeah. Well, and then remember, it's a year-to-year basis. Like, we're all kind of sitting on the fact that, well, if Brady wins the next one, he's going to be done. And Brady keeps, like, upping that ante with the age. Hey, I'm going to play till I'm 40. I'm going to play till I'm 45. I'm going to play till I'm 50. I'm going to play until I'm 75. He just keeps, and I think at some point, Bill Belichick will say, okay, enough's enough, we need to move on.
Right.
Which at that point, I wouldn't blame him.
But with the rules, the way the rules are in the NFL right now, you can barely touch a quarterback and you get a penalty. So I think this is...
Yes, that's true.
I think you're going to see more quarterbacks being able to extend their careers like Tom Brady has.
Yeah. No, I would definitely agree with that. The limits that defensive players have on quarterbacks is quite frustrating. It really is. You're right. You can't, if you shove them about a second after they release the ball when you're in full speed and momentum's carrying there, it's a roughing the passer. I totally get it. And it is. But again, it benefits guys like Brady. It's going to benefit Rodgers. It's going to benefit Ben Roethlisberger. But then also shows you how bad Manning really was when age got him. Because those rules were instituted before. In fact, he was whining so much. Him and Tony Dungy were having their binkies in their mouth and whining to the NFL so much that they got the rules changed because of the Patriots. So when they finally got what they wanted, then it became untouchable. Manning still sucks.
He went to a Super Bowl.
He went to 2.
Won 1.
And no, he went to 3.
Yeah, he's been to more than just 2.
He's been to 3. He's got destroyed in 2 of them.
Okay, but a guy that takes his team to the Super Bowl, it's hard to classify him as horrible.
He's crap. It was his defense who got him there the last 2 years. Okay, throwing. Look, you and I could throw a better ball with our opposite arm than Manning could with his regular arm in those last 2 Super Bowls. They were duck flailing footballs. It was Peyton Manning with a noodle arm throwing a noodle ball and watching it get picked off, and his defense have to come bail him out. Peyton Manning's overrated. So is his forehead.
I can agree with you on that second point.
But no, I agree.
Do you think that we're getting into a point, or will we ever get there? But are we getting to a point where the money in sports has gotten so much?
Oh yeah, we're
that
past
some of these
point.
players are going to be like, look, whether it's 20 million or 30 million or 40 million, look, I'm taken care of. The bottom base level, some of these guys, it's so high.
No, I'm with you.
Or do you think that there's ego is such a big part of athletics?
No.
There's going to be stars that say, I don't care. I am the number one guy. Or there's no way that guy gets more money than me. I don't care what stratosphere the pile of money starts to reach. I don't care how much Scrooge McDuck you get wanting to swim around in your own money. I think there's an ego point on some of these guys that there's no way that guy is going to earn more than me.
So here's my thing, and you are absolutely 110 spot on. Absolutely spot on. In fact, I will go so far as to saying, and it's going to probably cause a lot of irritation in so much that phone to your right is going to just buzz. But high school kids have that exact same problem. There's even no money involved. That's the crazy part. Even high school kids have this ultra ego caused by their parents because mommy and daddy think that they're the best player in the state of Utah when really they're like the 5th best player on the bench. And so when they don't get the playing time they want, they transfer them to another school. And they say, you know what, kid, you'll start at this school and you'll get a chance to play sports here because, the coach loves you. And so they're going to move them to Aunt and Uncle Vicky's house. And have them live there for 2 years just so they can actually get some playing time. The same thing goes into professional as well, and money is more involved in this. So you look at players, the whole Harper Trout contract thing was so upendously ridiculous for how much they got paid. Just so much money that they could have used on the future of the franchise, but they spent on one player. And as we have seen, in fact, I'll rephrase that, I have yet to see those kind of contracts work out for any player.
Or for a franchise.
For a franchise, yes, there you go, thank you. For a player or for the franchise. And I mean, so in high school, yeah, mommy and daddy getting you transferred to a new school will work, great, wonderful. But when it comes college or a pro or whatever it is, when they get up into the pro or college rank, mommy and daddy ain't there to save you. And you're going to find out how worthless you might be as an athlete.
Well, I wonder that, and I think we see this, I think we're starting to see this a little bit in the NBA, but I wonder in other sports now, that the money in sports, professional sports, has gotten so high that, and some of these contracts have gotten so ridiculous. But at what point did these guys say, look, I'm 20 million, 25 million? That's crazy money.
Yeah.
And if you can say, look, I'm fine taking $20 million. I don't need 35. How many other players can you go out there to get to help your roster? How much do you want to be the highest paid guy versus I want to be a guy that's taken care of, but on a team that's going to go do something?
Yeah. So and then that's where the conundrum kind of comes in with a lot of basketball players is that I want to be the highest paid guy in this position. And it does happen in the NFL too. I think Rodgers wanted that high kind of money. I know Le'Veon Bell, Earl Chancellor or whatever his name was, from Seahawks, he wanted that kind of money. Richard Sherman in that situation. The thing with, like, for example, the Patriots, it's if you want that kind of money, go get it somewhere else. We'll find someone to replace you who's cheaper and is younger and probably going to be just as good. For example, with Tom Brady's new deal, you've already heard, the provision and the kicker to it all is that it doesn't allow New England to franchise or transition tag him for the 2020 season. The problem with that now is that the hit for Brady is that if he leaves the team after 2019, will be about $13 million. And I think it's Albert Breer, I believe, who reported that the team turned his $14 million from 19 into $1.75 million salary and then converted the balance to a signing bonus of $20 million, which goes over 3 years. It's about $6.5 million, give or take. But it will hit, let's see. Yeah, but the balance finally kicks in at about 2020 if he leaves. So that's $20 million. So really, like, everybody's like, well, yeah, he's helping the team out. If he leaves in 19, it actually hurts the team because then they have to pay him that bonus money. So it actually, I mean, it's nice now, excuse me, but in 2020, it could hurt if he ends up retiring. So there's always those little, like, you know, subtle stabs that you don't see in a contract. That would be one of them. And I totally agree that players are always on the lookout for themselves. Brady, I mean, it kind of helps that his wife is a billionaire or a millionaire or whatever she is. It doesn't hurt in that regard. But
right, I mean, she's a supermodel that makes a lot of money on doing her thing.
Yeah.
But even if she didn't, I mean, Tom Brady's been in the league long enough, making what he makes. I mean, does he really need that much money to put food on the table for his kids for the next 40 years of his life?
Well, yeah. Do you know how much avocado shakes cost these days? I mean, no. And he's got one of the best-selling books, TB12 Method, still sold out on Amazon.com. I mean, it's one of the most high-selling books on there and on a lot of other bookstores. He's still got his TB12 business. He has kind of a future plan ahead of him. So guys like him, guys like Manning, guys like Rodgers and Ben Roethlisberger will not be hurting after retirement as so long as they're smart with their money, which I would imagine they will be. They're pretty, you know, they have very small circles with trusted individuals.
Yeah, it's not always a guarantee. We had a story just the other day. Who was it? It was
Adrian Peterson of the Redskins.
Former running back. Basically, he's bankrupt.
Yeah, and he blamed his family for it too.
Yeah,
blamed his family and bad investors.
Owes millions of dollars.
Yeah, got some bad info from some bad people and got himself. And that's what I'm saying is even people who have that kind of money are so sticklish with who's a part of their group. Brady's one of them. Brady is very, 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 and because he said and he never went into detail, but he said he learned a valuable lesson when he was younger in the pros trusting somebody, went south very quickly, got him out of the group immediately, and started in a new direction in that regard. And I think so. Sometimes it's more trial and error. You learn, who you can trust and who you can't. Kawhi Leonard's another guy who maybe has 3 people in his group outside of his family. Just because they want to trust.
Small group.
Yeah, exactly. But that's what's really worked. That's what's really worked for those guys is small groups create less hassle. And as you can see with many athletes, Kurt Schilling, Adrian Peterson, Terrell Owens, actually, just a lot of financial issues because they had such a big group.
Right, they have this big entourage, and they're all looking for something. It's a problem. So anyway, interesting discussion with what's gone on with the NFL contracts and in the NBA as well. And speaking of which, let's get into some of the movement that's happened in the NBA. It's created some new duos and some of these all-stars pairing up, whether it was free agency or in trades. And so we'll look at some of the new duos in the NBA.
I'm so excited about that, by the way.
And then looking at some of the current duos coming back and kind of compare and contrast.
So excited about this.
So we'll get into that. Also update you on what's happening with Team USA. It seems like every day it's something new with who's going to be there and who won't be, which may be good news for Donovan Mitchell, but maybe not necessarily a guarantee. So we'll update you on that as they start to report to Las Vegas this week as they prepare for the FIBA World Cup, which will take place in Asia early part of next month. So we'll update you on that. And Carmelo Anthony, an extended interview over the weekend. Maybe you saw some of the news, some of the reports about whether or not he has a place in basketball anymore, if his career is over. He seems to think he's still got more time left in him, but will he be willing to play the proper role to make that a case? So we'll discuss that coming up next here on the Full Court Press.
The Full Court Press. Connect with us on Facebook, Twitter, and online at 1069thefan.com.
Eric Frandsen, Ajay Salvesen. Full Court Press on 106.9 FM, 1390 AM, The Fan.
Season 2's underway already.
2-hour show. Back at it again.
Hey, I want to ask you, did you get a chance to watch the Hall of Fame at all? I don't know if you're into that stuff at all. So it's interesting. Ty Law of the New England Patriots gets inducted into the Hall of Fame, but he's only the first player of the first Patriots dynasty to make it. So Teddy Bruschi, Willie McGinnis, Ronnie Harrison, Lawyer Malloy, just these names that come out of my mouth were part of the first Patriots dynasty. And you're like, well, yeah, it's the Patriots dynasty. You're a Patriots guy. Well, no crap. But they won 3 Super Bowls in 4 years, and they did it against the greatest show on turf, the Rams. They did it against a physical, brutally tough Panthers team, and then picked to lose against the Eagles. They beat them in pretty dominating fashion, though the score was closer than what the game really was. And it's almost a shame that some of these players are being held out, and I see some of the players that are getting in, and I always kind of wonder. It's sad. I was just looking at this thing. I watched Ty Law's speech, and he mentioned those guys that I just mentioned: Willie, Ronnie Harrison, Teddy Bruschi. The captain. Teddy was the captain of a defense that won 3 Super Bowls in 4 years, but he's not in the NFL Hall of Fame because God knows why. It doesn't make sense. And so I've always wondered what's a bigger joke: the MLB Hall of Fame or the NFL Hall of Fame? Because I think it's a coin flip right now.
Really?
Yeah. The MLB Hall of Fame.
I've always felt like Major League Baseball is pretty petty.
Oh yeah,
they came up with really petty reasons why.
So agree.
Outside of
my gosh,
were you a good player or a good coach? They come up with all kinds of other reasons to keep guys
Mark
out.
McGwire and Sammy Sosa saved baseball when baseball was laying on his deathbed in '98. People were sick of seeing the Yankees and Braves. And baseball was really at a low point. And then McGwire and Sosa went on this home run chase for the ages. Ken Griffey Jr. was just lagging behind on a wagon, but he was still in it. And it saved baseball. Every day, you weren't looking to see if your team beat this team. You're looking to see, did Sammy get 2 or did McGwire get 2? What's the run look like right now? And it was good. Barry Bonds was one of the. Look, if he took steroids, that guy had about as pure a swing as you could ask for. He drew the most walks in MLB history. There were teams walking him with the bases loaded.
Well, he'd walk up to the plate wearing like armor.
Yeah.
Half his body was covered in like he ran down to the local medieval shop and.
But Kurt Schilling, the bloody sock. I mean, he goes and throws a terrific and incredible Game 6 of the ALCS, needing a win, one more to get into Game 7.
Tremendous career, even when he was with Arizona.
With Diamondbacks, he's co-MVP in Game 7
of the World Series. But they just don't like the way he talks politically.
Yeah, but I mean, since when did yeah, exactly. What's a bigger joke, the NFL or the MLB? And I honestly, I used to always think it was MLB by far and above. The NFL is getting there very, very quickly. So there's my spiel.
Okay, let's talk another Hall of Fame real quickly as a transition for our next topic.
Let's do it.
Is Carmelo Anthony a Hall of Fame player of the NBA?
Yes. I know. It's crazy. In fact, when I said Carmelo Anthony was an NBA Hall of Fame player, someone else said, "Well, that means Matt Ryan is of the NFL." A lot of playoff.
Interesting comparison.
Yeah, it is, and they point out to say, look, he went to the playoffs a lot. Great. Matt Ryan went to a Super Bowl, had a 28-3 lead, and lost it. Carmelo Anthony never even saw the championship, never saw the finals, and then destroyed two different teams, in so much that he didn't even make it after that. In fact, the story's going to go on. I would say Carmelo Anthony, though, is a Hall of Fame player.
10-time All-Star.
Okay.
6-time All-NBA player.
Mm-hmm.
Was the scoring champ a couple different times.
2009, right?
The most recent one was 2012-2013. Averaged 28.3 points per game.
When was his first one?
Maybe that is the only one, actually.
Really?
I have to double-check that.
Oh, wow.
But he is the only 3-time Olympic gold medalist in men's basketball history.
And he was a vital part of all three of them, by the way.
Yes. So, besides the debate about whether or not he's a Hall of Famer, I tend to think that the NBA bar that you have to hurdle to get into the Hall of Fame is a little low. But I could see reasons why he could be considered for a Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm.
But is he a player that can still contribute in the NBA today?
Oh, man. Now you're...
Regardless, talking about his future,
yeah.
Can he be on a roster and help a team today? After about 10 games with the Houston Rockets last year...
They said enough with that idea.
They basically fired him, and he felt that's what they did. And it messed him up emotionally and messed with his psyche. But since then, he feels like... Well... He says he's been in the gym every day, and he feels like he can still play.
Here's the thing. Like, it messed with his emotional and psyche. No, dude, it bent your ego, which was so above your head that you thought you owned the New York Knicks. You thought you were the best thing that ever happened to Houston. And Houston turned around and said, dude, we can do without you and do just fine. And they did. I don't think Carmelo helps them get to the finals. I can tell you that right now. But could he help a team? Yeah. A playoff team? No. He'd probably ruin LA Lakers. He would definitely ruin the Clippers. He wouldn't help the Rockets. He would be horrible for the Jazz. A non-NBA playoff team, absolutely he could help.
Here's the thing. If in my mind, if Carmelo Anthony wants to play in the NBA, he needs to be satisfied with coming off the bench because he demanded to be a starting player, and he got all pouty if he came off the bench.
Yeah.
So, and if he didn't play closing minutes. So if he wants to contribute still in the NBA, which I think he can, I think he could still give a team 14 to 18 points a night. And for some teams, that'd be great. But he has to be willing to be a rotation guy, come off the bench, and understand that opposing offenses are going to search him out because he's so weak defensively. If he can find a place where there is a good line of defense behind him, and they could use him just as offense coming off the bench, he'd be good. He'd be, I think, a contributing part of a second unit that could help a team.
Yeah.
But you think you're right. It has to be the right situation.
It has to be the right situation. And the way the West is loaded up right now, I don't think any team wants Carmelo. Really,
if I'm the Charlotte Hornets, I'm looking for something to bring people to my arena. If I'm the I don't know if I want to say the Orlando Magic.
I was thinking Miami Heat.
Miami Heat
would be another team that could be an intriguing option.
Even Minnesota?
Minnesota would be another team. But then again, I just look at a list of teams that would not take him. I know for sure 100% would not take him. And I've talked to a couple people about it, and they said absolutely no way. They said there's no way that he's going to make an NBA roster. What's more stunning to me, though, is this. And we're going to get into this FIBA Cup team in just a moment. But they have lost player after player after player after player who are just dropping out like flies. Carmelo Anthony, as you've already mentioned, is a 3-time Olympic winner. The only one in Team USA history. But when the phone is being picked up and they're dialing numbers for looking for NBA players, Carmelo's phone isn't ringing. That tells you a bigger statement than anything, Eric.
Jerry Colangelo, who's the main guy, who's putting this team together.
Yep, director of operation for it. Yep, he's good. Great job too.
Yeah, the question was asked about Carmelo Anthony, and he said he hasn't even considered.
Really?
Carmelo Anthony's out there. He's been a good international player. Would you add him? Didn't even think about him.
That tells you all you need to know then.
Colangelo said NBA free agent Carmelo Anthony, who has been a USA basketball standout in the past, was not considered for the World Cup roster. I mean, he is getting older, too, but...
Dude, even older, you'd still take him as leadership, but, hey, if they're not even considering him, that, I think... you know everything you need to know about the situation.
Look, it's
now.
Not like I'm anti-Carmelo Anthony, that I have beef against this guy. His skill set, he's a pure scorer. And there are teams that could really use that. But what he does to a team, if he has found himself in a different mental space than where he was end of last year and coming into the 2018-2019 season, if he has evolved himself emotionally where he can handle being a rotation guy coming off the bench, I think he could help a team. I think there's several teams out there that he could play a significant role, and they'd be happy to have him. But if he thinks he's going to come in there and be a starter, and even at Houston, he said, I'll do whatever I need to do to help the team, but it clearly wasn't working out. And just a few weeks into it, they said, you know what? Just don't come to practice anymore.
Yeah, right. No, it's, yeah.
Because here's a guy that wanted to be a starter. He wanted to play closing minutes. And no. We saw what the Jazz did to you when you were with Oklahoma City. It doesn't
Do you remember
sense.
that games 1 and 2 where they were like, hey, I mean, it was almost the same thing with Gordon Hayward, but they were just doing it because they knew the skill of Carmelo Anthony. Like, even Joe Ingles, I remember this clear as day. Joe Ingles comes on the far side of the court going right to left, and this was this is like early in the game, I think with like 8 minutes going on the clock in the first quarter, and Joe Ingles on the far side of the court, as soon as he crosses half court, they call a screen to get Carmelo on Joe. And then when they show the replay, Joe smiles. He looks over and he's like, oh yeah. Looks his chops, goes right side, gets a layup to go. Donovan Mitchell takes the ball down and he looks over and he's not even across half court. So next possession, not even crossing half court, screams over to Favors, who for whatever reason has Carmelo on him, gets a switch.
Everybody's like, can I have my turn, please?
And you see Billy like screaming, help, help. And no, help never shows up, and Carmelo gets burnt. And you're right. It was everybody just taking their turn. Quinn Snyder called that play like 6 times in game 2 because he just knew how, a liability Carmelo was on the court defensively. And my goodness, that just torched Oklahoma City where they were like, all right, by game 3, he was playing like 3 minutes a game, and they were like, dude, you're no good for us.
Well, he would contribute during the regular he'd play more minutes than that, but he wouldn't see time in the fourth quarter.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Okay, yeah, I mean, yeah, sure, 3 minutes, but what I'm saying is that, I mean, it diminished a lot.
Yes.
I mean, Carmelo felt like he was playing 3 minutes a game. He's like, come on. And then fourth quarter, when you're, up 2 with 6, 7, 8 minutes left, I think Quinn Snyder and his bench were looking down for Carmelo, and, well, he's not coming in. And I of course, they're kind of hoping he would. He didn't, but... Yeah, they torched him, and then when Houston cut him, I mean, look, when he went to Houston, I said, why? What in the world are you absolutely thinking? And then what was it, like 10 weeks later, or 10 days later, or whatever it was? They knew. They knew. Unbelievable. Unbelievable, man.
If he's willing to be a spot-up shooter, if he's willing to be somebody who's not the main focus, if he's willing to be somebody that can lead a second unit, then yeah, I think Carmelo Anthony still has some years in him. I think he's got some points in him. But it's got to be in the right system where he's got help behind him.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, he's just going to be this huge liability defensively. But maybe some teams, they don't really, it doesn't bother them that much. But anyway, so that's an interesting discussion with Carmelo Anthony and what he's doing, where he thinks he might go, still trying to make his way to the NBA and be a part of what's going on. Incidentally enough, Vince Carter signing another for another year.
It's his final year. Is that right? He's done after this?
Pretty much making it known it's going to be his final year. And that was a record-setting, would be a record-setting deal for him.
He should have been gone 4 years ago. I love the guy.
Like Tom Brady, 42 years old.
Yeah, but Tom Brady was winning championships. Vince Carter is, Vince Carter hasn't really been that productive on the court for any team for a while.
It'll be an NBA record 22nd season for Vince Carter.
Wow. Well, you know what,
So will he be a Hall of Famer?
Oh, dude, yeah. That dunk contest in 1999 is still one of the best is the best dunk contest I've ever seen in my life. Yeah, man. He set the world on fire in one night. And what he did for Toronto, and look, like Toronto won a championship and all, first time with Kawhi, great. Vince Carter was part of that inauguration and brought that team to a very new height that Toronto had never seen in their basketball. So yeah, he's a Hall of Famer.
Because Carmelo Anthony's numbers are far superior to Vince Carter's.
I said Carmelo's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, just when you look at the two of them, if you were to compare.
Yeah, but Carmelo Anthony's a shooter. He'll shoot 40 times out of 50 and feel like he had a good night. Vince Carter played it differently, and he had McGrady on his team. He had a pretty good team too. So
yeah, when he was with the Nets, that was a good team.
Yeah, Jason Kidd went to the finals and they got destroyed by the Lakers.
Interesting stat about Vince Carter: if he plays a game in 2020, which
will be
remains healthy this season and makes it through the end of December and plays a game in January, he will be the first player in NBA history to appear in a game in 4 different decades. He was a Rookie of the Year in 1999.
Oh my gosh.
So he was in the 90s,
gosh, man.
Early 2000s, the teens, and makes it into 2020. Then he'll be the first player into 4 different decades.
How many teams has he been on? I know he's been on, it's the Hawks, Nets, Raptors.
He was on the Mavericks.
Memphis, Mavericks. Is that 5? 5 and 4 decades.
Not very many when you consider the length of his career.
4 decades. Yeah, it's true.
All right, coming up next to the Full Court Press, we'll get into this Team USA with FIBA World Cup is not that far away. Donovan Mitchell has been invited to participate and look at the roster as it's shaping up as more players have backed out. Who was going to be there? Players who thought were going to be just practice guys now might be playing more significant roles. And looking at the field, what's out there for FIBA World Cup, what are the teams to watch out for? And then also with the movement that's happened in the NBA, what are some of the best duos in the NBA? Either the new ones that have come together because of trade or free agency, or existing ones that are coming back for another run for this upcoming season. We'll discuss that next on the Full Court Press.
The Aggies, Jazz, high schools, even the Pee Wee's T-ball team. It's the Full Court Press on Sports Talk Radio, The Fan.
Eric Frandsen, Ajay Salvesen. It's the Full Court Press, 4 to 6 every weeknight. Full 2 hours. And you can also stream us online, 1069thefan.com. That's where you can also find podcasts of past episodes and all kinds of fun stuff there. So go check it out. The Team USA getting ready for FIBA World Cup, which will take place in China. The team originally invited about 35 different players
Yeah.
to be a part of the team.
Yep.
And they need to get it down to 12. There need to be a 12-man roster.
Well, they're not having any problem with that.
But by just natural attrition, there's been a lot of people withdraw. So of the original 35, 30 have already withdrawn from World Cup consideration.
Oh, jeez.
Here are some of the reasons: pending fatherhood, injury rehab, filming a movie, preparing for a long NBA season. Some of them are going to be traveling internationally anyway for preseason games, and so you'd have to go do international games in Asia, come back, and a few weeks later go back to some of them back to Asia for preseason games or season openers. So a couple different reasons why guys aren't participating.
Here's the thing. Like, when did that start kind of becoming a reason? I mean, do you remember back in the day when Carmelo Anthony, Allen Iverson, Dwayne Wade, I mean, all these guys were willing to absolutely go play for their country. Now it's like, I'm trying to find any excuse, if at all, to get out of here.
Well, there's a couple of reasons, too, that it's been pushed back. The dates of the FIBA World Cup encroach upon fall training camp for these teams. These guys don't have much downtime between the two. And it used to be an every other year thing. You do FIBA World Cup one year, next year you wouldn't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
And then the following year it'd be the Olympics, and then it would go back in that kind of a cycle. But then it got pushed back, and so it's FIBA World Cup this year, and then the Olympics next. So basically, if you're going to do it, you have to commit to 2 off seasons of playing international ball in a row. So I can get that can be problematic for some guys.
It's sure, but if we go there and we lose, we're gonna have a bigger issue than guys just dropping out. And it would.
Well, then I think that might be part of it too. Is it's kind of this recency thing. These players, as they've been following international ball, Team USA has been dominant.
Yeah,
and they forget that several years back that wasn't the case. Argentina beat Team USA. Greece beat Team USA several years back. So, but since then, it's kind of been revamped and better attention, and the Americans have played very well internationally. So it may be that they're becoming a little lackadaisical, that Team USA just walks in and takes care of business.
Yeah. I mean, you'd hope that'd be the case, but when you got guys like, I mean, the list is bigger than this, but I mean, we're looking at Damian Lillard, Durant, Westbrook,
Harden, Anthony Davis,
DeMarcus Cousins. I don't think he's going to be in it. DeMar DeRozan, I don't think he's going to be in it either, even though his head coach is the coach of the team. It's just, man, I don't know what they're going to do. I'm kind of actually starting to get worried. Anthony Davis won't be on the team. So now you're looking at guys like Mason Plumlee, Thaddeus Young,
Harrison
Barnes. So, dude, I hope we don't screw it up, but I'm not really all that positive or optimistic right now. So right now, guards who are on the roster still: Walker, Mitchell, Lowry, Marcus Smart, De'Aaron Fox. Who left as a guard were Damian Lillard, T.J. McCollum, Bradley Beal, DeMar DeRozan, James Harden, Eric Gordon. Wings, you still have Chris Middleton, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Harrison Barnes, Thaddeus Young, Kyle Kuzma. Those who have said no: Tobias Harris, Paul Millsap, J.J. Redick, Montrezl Harrell. I mean, and bigs, you have Anthony Davis, Kevin Love, Andre Drummond, and Julius Randle, who've left. Mason Plumlee, Bam Adebayo, Brook Lopez, Miles Turner, PJ Tucker. These guys are going to get absolutely lit up by Spain.
Well, here's the thing, though.
Come on.
That being said, international ball, if you get it's kind of like the NCAA tournament.
Yeah.
If you've got some dynamic guards, you'll do well.
Yeah.
And you'll go far. And the guard play, while there's some guys that could be in it that aren't, the guard play is still pretty good for Team USA.
Kemba, Mitchell. Because right now, when I look at that roster, I would say Walker and Mitchell will start. I dare say that. Kemba Walker will for sure start. either Mitchell or Lowry, but I'm guessing Mitchell. If he can have a good week of practice. I think that starts, this week?
Yeah, they're starting to report to Las Vegas.
Yeah, if Mitchell can step up and be really good, then I would say Mitchell's going to be on there. And I think that's on ESPN too. That'd be sweet to watch him play. I would say I just pray that Mitchell doesn't get hurt.
Yeah, that's the big question. That's always a big fear.
Don't you freaking dare. By the way, their first game is until September 1st on a Sunday at 8 o'clock at night.
Some of the teams to watch out for, Spain.
Yeah.
Always puts together a good team.
Spain's going to light that team up.
Pau Gasol is not going to play. Serge Ibaka is not going to play. But they still have
really?
Marc Gasol, Ricky Rubio, a couple other guys. Team Canada actually should be pretty good.
Dude, Serge Ibaka's not playing?
No.
Oh, thank the Lord. Yeah, we're going to be all right then. We're going to go all the way to the championship.
Greece should be pretty good.
What's Team Canada look like, man?
Team Canada, Jamal Murray, Corey Joseph, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
Oh, jeez.
They're going to be coached by Nick Nurse.
Is Drake going to be the owner of that team?
I don't think so. So, anyway, that it starts this week, and they need to get down to there's the player roster, but then there's also the practice roster that some of these other guys are participating in. And I think it's a great opportunity for the up-and-coming NBA players to be involved in something like that.
What happens if they lose? Do they go to the Olympics still or no?
Well, that's a good question. I think they've qualified. It's just a matter of where they would be seated.
Okay. But they'll still go to the Olympics, right?
It depends on, I guess it may depend on where they lose and when they lose, and how many teams they lose too.
That's not great. Okay.
So I don't think it's a guaranteed thing. But anyway, it'll be interesting. They'll start practicing this week in Las Vegas. Donovan Mitchell originally looked like he'd just be a practice guy, but he's moved up, and he may actually get some. It's still his position on the 12-man roster is not guaranteed.
Yeah,
but
I would say it's pretty darn likely now. With
he might end up making it.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, Marcus Smart's a good point guard. I'd still take Donovan Mitchell. I'd take Mitchell over Kyle Lowry.
I'd take Mitchell over Smart because I think he's more dynamic.
De'Aaron Fox is a tough bet, but I think they're going to take three guards. They're going to take obviously Walker. They'll take Fox. I still think they take Mitchell, and I think Mitchell sees a lot of minutes, hopefully in Vegas.
I think Chris Middleton. I think you'd want him as a shooter.
Yeah,
he's a good defender. So it'd be interesting to see what this team.
You bring up a
like.
great point, like the defensive part of it. Look, De'Aaron Fox can score, but he can't really guard. So maybe that's where Mitchell gets the head above him, because he can score and he can guard on both ends. So, and of course, he's getting a high amount of praise from some pretty big NBA stars themselves. So that'll help.
All right, coming up next here on the Full Court Press, the duos in the NBA. Some are new places, new destinations, because of free agency or trades that happened. And how do they compare to the existing great duos in the NBA? We'll discuss that coming up next here on the Full Court Press.
A new home for the Full Court Press. Weekday afternoons from 4 to 6 on Sports Talk Radio, 106.9 FM, 1390 AM. The Fan.
Eric Frandsen, Ajay Salvesen. It's the Full Court Press, 106.9 FM, 1390 AM. The Fan. Streaming online, 1069thefan.com.
This song always gets me pumped up. Get ready to do a great show. I put the eye black on. This song just freaking fires me up, man.
There was a time when it was really taboo to play this song.
Yeah.
He did, the artist did some things.
Yeah, that were shame.
Yeah, not good.
Yeah.
And if you played it was like, oh, why do you support that guy?
That's the thing, is that
it's a great tune. I'm not supporting him.
Yeah, no, I remember last fall we were going to play this song and he told me not to. And then someone else was listening to our show. I can't say who on the air, but someone else was listening to our show and he texted me and he said, dude, Eric's right. You can't play that show. You can't play that song on your show, man. The guy was doing really bad things. But we're playing now, and I hear it in stadiums all the time.
still a great song.
Oh, it's an incredible song.
No, it doesn't excuse what he did personally.
No, Michael Jackson was a weird dude, but I freaking love listening to Black and White.
He had his issues.
That's an understatement.
All right, best duos in the NBA.
Oh, man. Okay, so how do you want to do this? Because I'm excited about this part.
Let's talk about new duos, and let's talk about current duos, and then which ones may be better. So the new duos, these are guys that are newly paired together.
Okay.
Whether it be because of trade or free agency, or for the Clippers, it happened for both. They got Kawhi Leonard via free agency and Paul George via trade to create a new duo.
Okay.
So that's, for me, if that's not the best new duo, it's 1A or 1B. LeBron James, Anthony Davis would be the other one. I think you can debate which was the better duo, which will be the better duo.
I don't put LeBron James and Anthony Davis in the top two. I love Kawhi and Paul George. Paul George was an MVP candidate before Russell Westbrook got selfish. And with Kawhi Leonard in there and Paul George at the same time, they're defensive menaces and they're offensive scoring threats. That's
such great two-way players.
And by the way, the team that got surrounded with them is just absolutely mean. The other number two, I'd have Russell Westbrook and James Harden.
Really?
They could put 50 up by themselves each.
I'd see. I have it on my list, but I don't know how it's going to work.
You're not the only one who thinks that.
I just don't know how it's going to work.
There's a lot of people I've talked to, high up NBA archy people who said the exact same thing.
I mean, it has potential to be really interesting, but I think this will be more interesting for viewers that don't like Houston.
No, I'm with you.
Another duo, which it's going to take a year to see its in entirety, but Durant and Irving.
Yeah, I'm kind of interested to see how that goes. If Irving can actually stay interested and engaged, they could be good. If Irving becomes to be this drama queen, I need attention.
Right, if he gets wore out after 1 year,
then it's going to turn into an absolute disaster.
Another great one, you have to look at Donovan Mitchell and Mike Conley for the Utah Jazz.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how good this is. But having a playmaker next to Donovan is going to change a lot of things and create a lot of opportunities for Donovan Mitchell as well.
Can you think of any other new duos?
I still think. No, actually, I wouldn't even put him in there. Never mind. Yeah, Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum. Have their moments.
Okay, so that's a current duo. That's an existing duo.
Oh, so you're talking about like.
So as a new duo,
I gotcha. No.
I can't really think of too many that really stood out to me beyond them.
Yeah.
And then I want to look at current duos. I think you're right. I think you look at Lillard and McCollum.
Yeah.
They got to be up there really high.
Donovan and Rudy, I think, are up there really high together.
Interesting.
It's a good pick and roll.
It is a good duo.
And, even Joe Ingles and Rudy Gobert actually is pretty dominant, too.
Klay Thompson, Steph Curry.
Beautiful.
But I have to put Draymond Green kind of in the mix because Klay's not really going to be a factor until
No, and I'm with you. But I think, when you think Steph Curry, you think Klay Thompson. When you think Klay, you think Steph. That's just how it is.
Yeah.
And together, from the three-point line, it's just stupid what they can do. It's almost unfair, man. It really is.
Probably, I think one of the best returning duos is in Philadelphia. Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons.
I don't even have him in my top 5. And I think Ben Simmons alone erases that. I think Ben Simmons is a horrible basketball player. He can't shoot. He can play okay defense, but I felt like Toronto waxed him. They ate him alive. So,
Chris Middleton, Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Yes, 10 times. I wish we could have got Chris Middleton over here. I would have took him in a heartbeat.
Porzingis and Doncic. I haven't really seen them together much.
That could be intriguing.
But that one could be really interesting.
That could be
Dallas.
really good. That could stir something up in Dallas. They could become a playoff team with that duo alone.
How about DeRozan and Aldridge in San Antonio?
Yeah, but Aldridge is so inconsistent, man. DeRozan's there every night. I just feel like Aldridge isn't, though.
Have a great night, everybody.
Good night.
I guess we're still here. Sorry, first night back for doing a 2-hour show, and we thought we were supposed to take a break there, but it wasn't a hard time like we anticipated.
Okay, so let's look back to classic
duos.
duos.
We'll finish our duos. There's one more that I want to throw in here that we didn't have time earlier. Do you consider this duo as a dynamic duo in the NBA? DeAndre Ayton and Devin Booker in Phoenix.
No.
I think they have potential to be there.
Sure.
But they're not there yet.
I mean, I think there's potential for J. Rue Holiday and Zion Williams.
True.
But
Fair.
we'll see.
Fair. Okay. And you want to talk about classic duos?
Yeah. The best one ever, Pippen and Jordan. Best duo ever.
Best duo ever. Ooh.
I take
Would
them
you
over.
do that over Stockton and Malone?
Oh, heck.
Probably.
They
What?
beat
They
Stockton
won
and
6
Malone
rings.
twice.
More than Magic and Kareem.
Yeah. Scotty and Michael were on a different level, man.
McHale and Bird.
McHale would have got eaten alive by Pippen. Bird would have got eaten alive by Jordan. Yeah. Absolutely. Dude, I'll take Pippen and Jordan over them. I'll take Pippen and Jordan over Clyde Drexler and Danny Ainge. I'll take Pippen and Jordan over Danny Ainge and Charles Barkley. I'll take Pippen and Jordan over Peyton and Kemp.
Peyton and Kemp. That was a fun duo.
Dude, that was. They
That
were
was fun to
wild,
watch.
dude. That and man, Seattle needs basketball back. I mean, they brought so much fun to that arena. That place was hopping. Oh, jeez. I miss it. It's good memories right here. I'm enjoying this. What would you put Tim Hardaway and Chris Mullin on that list?
They were fun to watch, but no.
No. Steve Nash and Dirk Nowitzki.
Ooh, that was a good
That
duo.
was a freaking awesome duo. They had that great Mavericks team that got clubbed by Golden State in 07. But, yeah. Who else is it? Man, I'm trying. Man, this bring back some really great memories. Kobe Bryant and Shaq, obviously. Probably
That
one
was
of
a
the
big
better
duo.
duos ever. That was incredible, too. Shaq and Penny
Williams,
Hart. Oh, yeah.
Carlos Boozer.
You know what? Okay, you might laugh, but that team was really good. Really good back in the day.
I'm excited to see what this current Jazz duo looks like.
Stay healthy.
You're right, and how they
Stay
perform
healthy.
together. I'm
Please.
excited for the NBA season.
Yeah,
Can't
me
get
too.
here quick enough.
Me too.
That's going to do it for us tonight. Everybody have
For
a great
real.
one. We'll be back tomorrow.
Peace out.
You asked, begged, and even pleaded, and the heavens heard you. KLGN Logan, 106.9 FM, 1390 AM. The Fan.